Landlord went back on his word, and I got petty AF. Okay. So buckle up because this turned into one of the pettiest moments of my life and I'm still riding the high. Me and my flatmate have been living in this old but charming little rental for like 2 years. It was a private rental too, meaning the landlord wasn't breathing down our necks every 2 seconds. Chill dude, or so we thought. Fast forward, life happens and we decided we were moving out. No bad blood, just time for something new. You know? We gave notice, started packing. And then boom, out of nowhere, the landlord suddenly decides now is the perfect time to switch the property over to a manager. Like literally the minute he heard we were moving. I'm not kidding, we were barely 2 days into packing when the new property manager, let's call him Melonhead for reasons that will become clear, gave us a call. Melonhead introduces himself, sounding all cheerful and fake as hell, and tells us, oh don't worry, the landlord said no showings while you're still there. You'll have privacy to move out. I mean, cue the freaking choir. We were relieved. I'm disabled and my flatmate works crazy hours, only home on weekends, so moving has been like ninth circle of hell stressful. Not having random strangers poking through our half-packed disaster zone? Beautiful. Amazing. Thank you, universe. We felt good. Calm. Chill. We packed, we cleaned, we tripped over each other and 25 cat toys because that's just life. Everything was going as planned. Until Sunday afternoon. My phone rings. Guess who? Our good OL friend Melonhead, now singing a very different tune. Hey, yes, so there's gonna be a showing tomorrow at noon, just letting you know. I had to sit down. Okay, I'm always sitting, but you get what I mean. I was ready to invent new swear words. My flatmate was ready to fistfight the next person who looked at him funny. We had literally been told there would be no showings. No. Showings. And here they were, giving us less than 24 hours notice, because guess what? We're in New Zealand. They only legally have to give 24 hours notice here. Sucks ass. And yeah, my flatmate accidentally agreed over the phone because Melonhead was pushing hard and he's too polite sometimes. Bless him. But still, we were pissed. Like, flaming cactus enema pissed. We had to drop everything and stay up till some ungodly hour trying to make the house at least presentable. You ever try to organize chaos at 1 a.m. when your body feels like it's held together with tape and rage? Yeah. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. But oh, revenge was brewing. If they were gonna make us suffer, I was gonna make sure it wasn't easy for them either. I didn't know exactly how yet, but the universe handed me the perfect petty weapon on a silver platter the next day. Stay tuned. Monday rolls around way too fast. I woke up feeling like I got hit by a freight train. Moving does that to me even on a good day, but today was special. Today was wheelchair day, level bad. Disabled life, baby. So I'm sitting there in my chair, sipping on coffee and pure spite when the doorbell goes off. Aggressive AF. Like, dude thought he was a debt collector or something. I roll myself to the door, yank it open, and oh my god. Standing there is Melonhead himself. And let me tell you, the nickname fits. I swear his head was like, alarmingly large. Maybe it's because I was sitting lower down, but holy hell, it looked like his neck was one bad decision away from snapping. The little sprout of hair he had left was clinging to life like a moth in a hurricane. Honestly impressive. He takes one look at the wheelchair and you can just see the panic behind his beady little eyes. Like he hadn't even considered I might not politely disappear while he showed the house. Nah, buddy. I'm not going anywhere. I live here. He kind of stammers through some weird small talk about the weather or some other irrelevant bullshit while barely making eye contact before he awkwardly excused himself to go inspect the house for the first time ever. Like, dude, you work for the guy now. Maybe know the house before showing it? Just a thought. Anyway, he ends up just hovering near the front door like a scared substitute teacher waiting for the real teacher to show up. Total alpha vibes. /S. I, meanwhile, am posted up in the living room like an ancient cat judging everything in its domain. I got my drink. I got my phone. I got my best try me bitch face on. Then the prospective tenants show up. It's a family, mom, dad, 2 kids. They walk in all big smiles and polite energy. Until they see me. I swear, it was like they walked face first into an invisible brick wall of awkward. They froze up so hard I could almost hear the Windows XP shutdown sound in the background. I smiled sweetly and said, pretend I'm not here, just part of the furniture. And oh man, the pity laughs. The oh no, where do we look? Vibes. The kids practically glued themselves to their parents like I was radioactive. Was glorious. I didn't move. I didn't leave. I just sat there like a goblin queen in my throne, sipping my drink, watching them try to navigate the house without acknowledging me like I was the freaking elephant man. I wasn't even trying to be intimidating. I was literally just there, existing. But you would have thought I pulled a knife on them with how tense they got. And Melonhead? Oh, he was sweating. Every time the family hesitated, looked confused, or asked a question. He looked more and more like he wanted to crawl out of his own skin and disappear. And it gets better. Because guess who didn't know jack shit about the house he was showing? Yup. Old Melon had about as much knowledge as a goldfish. The chaos hadn't even started yet. So anyway, there I am, parked like a goddamn landmine in the living room, drink in hand, watching this poor family try to tiptoe around the chaos of moving day without accidentally making eye contact with me and catching the disabled disease. They're asking all the normal questions, stuff like, how's the heating in winter? What's the water pressure like? Are the neighbors loud? And Melonhead? This man was floundering. Every time someone opened their mouth, you could see his soul die a little more. He kept trying to make up answers on the spot, but you could tell he had no goddamn clue what he was talking about. I gave it about 5 minutes of watching him spiral before I got bored. So when they asked about how old the hot water cylinder was and he did that awkward stutter thing again, I decided, yeah, nah, you know what? Let's have some fun. I rolled out of the living room super slowly because my arms were shot from packing all weekend. And the teenage daughter literally jumped back like I was about to run her down. Bless her heart. Maybe she thought the chair had turbo mode. If only. I smile all sweet as pie and say, oh yeah, the water cylinder's about 5 years old. Super reliable, never had an issue. Also, the insulation in the house got redone 2 years ago. Keeps the place pretty toasty in winter. And the neighbor's dog only barks at drug dealers. So you're probably fine. The looks on their faces. Priceless. Melonhead just stood there, blinking at me like he couldn't process that I had a working brain and a working mouth at the same time. The family started warming up after that though. Started asking me direct questions instead of him. Which honestly made my petty little heart sing. Like, yeah, go off, king and queen. Ask me all about the pros and cons. I'm a literal encyclopedia compared to this clown. At one point, the mom leaned in and asked quietly if there was anything wrong with the house they should know about. I just smiled and said, nothing that isn't obvious if you look carefully. And I winked. God. The way her face did that tight little oh shit smile? Chef's kiss. Meanwhile, Melonhead was hovering by the front door, looking like he was trying to use sheer willpower to teleport out of there. Spoiler, he could not. Finally, after what felt like the longest 20 minutes of their lives, the family thanked us. Well, mostly me. Awkwardly shuffled themselves out, and Melonhead slammed the door behind them like he was sealing away a demon. And me? I just sat there, sipping my drink, like the petty little goblin I am. Oh, but we're not done yet. Because Melonhead made one more mistake that day, and it's the one that really set the stage for the finale. So, family's gone. Melonhead standing there, red in the face, doing his best impression of a man who just realized he fucked up but still wants to pretend he's in charge. He kinda clears his throat and goes, yeah, so, thanks for helping out there. You didn't have to answer everything, you know? I just smiled at him. Big, fake, sunshiny smile. Oh, don't worry, I said. Happy to help since you didn't know jack shit. The way his mouth opened and closed like a goldfish? Oh my god. Inject it directly into my veins. Anyway, he mumbled something about having a few more groups interested, and that he'll try to schedule something if needed. And I'm thinking, over my dead body, buddy. Because here's the thing he didn't know yet. My flatmate had passed me his mobile number after that Sunday phone call. And this girl's got boundaries made of steel when she's pissed. Not even an hour after he leaves, I get a text from Melonhead. Hey, just a heads up, thinking we might do another showing tomorrow around 5 p.m. That okay? No, if that's okay. No, would you mind? Just telling me. Like I'm some kind of paid concierge service who lives to accommodate his crusty melon-headed ass. Yeah, nah. Hard pass. I texted back. Number 24 hours notice required by law. Also, no further showings until we vacate. Please refer to the Residential Tenancies Act if you need a refresher. Cheers. Sent. Delivered. Read. And then? Silence. It was so quiet on his end I could hear the sweet, sweet sound of my petty little victory bells chiming. Honestly, it was the most satisfying moment I'd had in months. Almost made up for the nerve pain I was riding after spending the weekend doing moving prep. Almost. Now you'd think that would be the end of it, right? That he'd tuck his sad little tail between his legs and leave us alone for the last few days we had left. Reader, he did not. Because some men just have to double down on the stupid. And Melonhead decided he was gonna take one last shot at being a big man before we moved out. Spoiler alert, it backfired spectacularly. 2 days later, we're knee-deep in packing hell. There are boxes stacked so high in the living room you could honestly lose a toddler in there. I'm riding my wheelchair around like it's a bumper car just to get through the chaos. Flatmates running around trying to figure out how the hell we accumulated so much random crap. The vibes are sparkles, stressed sparkles, but hopeful 'cause we're almost out of here. And then, the knock. Not a doorbell, mind you. An aggressive cop knock. We both freeze. My flatmate gives me a "Are we about to be arrested for having too many houseplants?" look. I roll over, peek out the peephole, and guess who? Melonhead. No text. No warning. Number 24-hour notice. Just standing there like a sad-baked potato in a too-tight suit, looking like he just lost a custody battle with his hairline. I crack the door open just enough so he can't wedge his way in. "Hi," I said, fake cheery voice locked and loaded. "Can I help you?" He clears his throat. Yeah. I'm just checking on the property. Making sure everything's in good condition before you guys leave. Mate, you're a property manager, not the FBI. I stared at him dead in the eye and said, "You're violating the Residential Tenancies Act by turning up unannounced. You need 24 hours written notice and a valid reason to enter the premises." He actually had the audacity to scoff. "It's just a courtesy visit. No big deal." "Oh no, sweetheart. Not today. Not after all the bullshit you and your landlord buddy pulled." I straightened up in my chair, for extra gravitas and said, "Cool. Then as a courtesy, I'm telling you to get off the property before I call the police." Dead silence. He stood there for a second like he couldn't believe the cripple dared to have a backbone. Then he mumbled something about miscommunication and just doing his job, and shuffled off like a grumpy penguin. Flatmate watched the whole thing from the hallway and burst out laughing the second I shut the door. "Did you seriously just threaten to call the cops on him?" "Yep. Queen shit." After that, nothing. Not a peep. We finished packing, handed in the keys a day early, and pieced the hell out. Melonhead and the landlord never got another showing. They lost out on 2 weeks of rent because they couldn't show the house properly. All because they pissed off a disabled girl with a bad attitude and nothing left to lose. Moral of the story? Don't screw over your tenants. Especially not the ones with a mean sense of humor, a wheelchair, and way too much time on their hands. Peace out, Melonhead. May your melon forever shine bald and sad in the sunlight.